Thanks. To God be the glory. Mahalagang paalala, ang emergency capsule ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamitin paggamot sa anumang uri ng sakit.
Para sa damit na ka-bloom sa bango, subukan ang Charm Fabric Conditioner.
Charm Fat Farm, bangong kumaka-bloom. Charm Fat Farm, damit ay may bango ng salibong bulaklak.
Charm Fabric Conditioner with Stay Fresh Technology. Damit ay ka-bloom sa bango.
Charm Fat Farm, bangong kumaka-bloom. Charm Fat Farm, damit ay may bango ng salibong bulaklak.
Charm Fabric Conditioner. Manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified. World-class quality.
ACS.
Dzxl Newsbreak.
Magandang hapon mga kasama, narito ng mga balita sa oras na ito. MMDA handang ipagamit ng kanilang quarantine facility upang gawing National Vaccination Center. Kasama natin sa balita, Ex-Radyoman 11, Eman Mortega.
DCXL Radyoman Report.
Plano ngayon ni Metro Manila Development Authority o MMDA Chairman Benhar Abalos na ibuksan ang kanilang quarantine facility upang gawing National Vaccination Center. Ito'y para makatulong sa Interagency Task Force o IATF sa plano nitong paglulunsad ng vaccination program na nakatakda sa susunod na buwan. Ayon kay Abalos, malaking tulong kung gagawing vaccination center ang quarantine facility ng MMDA para sa mabilis na distribusyon at pangangasiwa ng bakuna sakaling dumating na sa bansa ang mga bibiling bakuna. Sinabi ng opisyal na ang MMDA quarantine facility ay bukas at maaaring gamitin ng anumang ahensya ng pamahalaan, lalo na kung kakailanganin ng mga ito ng lugar na pwedeng gawin ang kanilang vaccination program. Dagdag pa ni Abalos, handa silang tumulong sa mga lokal na pamahalaan sa Metro Manila tungkol sa logistic at equipment ng mga bibilin nilang bakuna upang mabilis na mapamahagi ito sa kanilang mga residente. Handa rin daw ang MMDA na tumulong upang mabawasan o kaya ay matigil na ang pagkalat ng virus para makabalik na sa tinatawag na new normal na pamumuhay ang publiko. Kasama mo sa Makati City, Radyoman 11, Eman Mortega, Tatak Aramen, DCXL 558.
At mga kasama na nanatiling prioridad ng administrasyon ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte na mabawasan ang bilang ng mga nagugutom sa Pilipinas. Ayon kay Cabinet Secretary Carlo Alexei Nograles, bagamat bigo ang pamahalaan na makapagsagawa ng pinalawak na National Nutrition Survey nitong 2020, dahil sa COVID-19 pandemic, gagawa pa rin sila ng paraan upang isagawa ito. Sa pamamagitan ito ng paggamit ng datos mula sa social weather stations, kung saan ang resulta ng survey ang gagawing gabay para masolusyonan ang kagutuman sa bansa. Nabatid na nasa survey nitong November 2020 lumabas na bumaba ng 16% mula sa 13% ang bilang ng mga nagugutom sa Pilipinas na naitala sa buwan ng Setyembre. Sa ngayon, inirekomenda ng Department of Agriculture kay Pangulong Duterte na ipatupad ang tigil galaw sa presyo ng baboy at manok sa gitna ng pagtaas ng presyo nito sa Metro Manila. At mga kasama, sisimula ng Department of Agriculture ang pagpapagawa ng test kits para matukoy ang African Swine Fever virus sa bansa. Ayon kay Agriculture Secretary William Dar, naglaan ang ahensya ng abot sa 80 milyong piso para sa pagpapagawa at pamamahagi ng ASFB Nanogold Biosensor sa mga lokal na pamahalaan. Sa pamamagitan ng National Livestock Program ng Bureau of Animal Industry, katuwang ng kagawaran ng Central Luzon State University. Dahil dito mapapabilis na ang pagbabantay at pagtukoy sa mga baboy na nagtataglay ng ASF virus. Sa ngayon, sinabi ni Dar na nakikipag-ugnayan na sila sa Vietnam matapos makagawa ng bakuna laban sa ASF para makapagsagawa ng clinical test sa bansa. At yan ang mga balita sa oras nito. Ako ang Radyoman Abby Malanday ng Dzxl 558 Tatak RMN.
Bayanihan laban sa COVID-19. DCXL 558 Radyo Trabaho Special Coverage.
At mga kasama, pakinggan natin ang nagaganap na briefing ng Department of Health sa pangunguna ng DOH-USEC, Maria Rosario Berjere.
minimum public health standards pa rin ang pinakamabisang proteksyon sa COVID-19 at sa kung anumang variants na darating dito sa ating bayan. Doon po sa mga nakapanood ng ating Survivor Speak series last week, sinabi po ng ating guest na kaya niya naagapan kaagad at nakapagpatest siya ng COVID-19 ay dahil sa kanyang continuous search for information. Alam po ni Psych Manzano Mori ang simptomas ng COVID-19. At noong nakaramdam na siya ng fever, alam na niya po ang mga critical first steps kung ano po ang kanyang dapat gawin. Naniniwala po kami na dahil sa kanyang tamang hakbang, ito po ay nakatulong sa kanyang recovery. Ang ating guest po natin ngayong araw na ito ay isa pong survivor. Maganda rin po ang kwento ng kanyang pagtatagumpay sa COVID-19. Marami po siyang important lessons na mababahagi sa atin, especially po sa continuous vigilance, especially kung medyo napapagod na po tayo sa mga paggawa natin ng health protocols. Marami po sa atin ay kagaya ng ating guest, si Miss Sarah Geronimo. Hindi po siya yung sikat na singer, pero maganda po ang kanyang ikukwento sa atin. Empleyado po si Sarah ng isang financial institution at dati, araw-araw po siyang pumapasok sa kanilang opisina. At dahil sa patuloy na pagdidisinfect pag-uwi, nakaranas po si Sarah ng tinatawag natin na quarantine fatigue. Marami po sa atin ang makaka-relate sa kanya. Magandang araw po, Miss Sarah. On behalf of the DOH Survivor Speak team, kami po ay nagpapasalamat na pinaunlakan nyo ang aming imbitasyon upang makapanayam namin kayo ngayong araw na ito. At the same time, kinagagalak po naming malaman na nalagpasan nyo po ang hamon ng COVID-19 at kasalukuyan na nasa mabuting kalagayan. Kasama rin po ni Miss Sarah for today ang kanyang sister, si Miss Rachel, na magbibigay din po sa atin ng kanilang mga experiences when they managed COVID-19 at home. So, Miss Sarah and Miss Rachel, we'll start the question and answers already. So, first question. I understand that you used to go to your office, physically during the first months of the lockdown. You said you also practiced constant vigilance and you practiced minimum public health standards. At what point did you experience this so-called quarantine fatigue? And sa tingin niyo po, bakit niyo po naramdaman ito? Miss Sarah?
I returned to work in May after the lockdown, but by June, parang the novelty of COVID started wearing off. So I was taking precautions, but they started becoming a hassle rather than a habit. So I think this is the case because around that time, I was keen to feel that things were going to be normal again. Parang gusto kong matuloy yung dati kong buhay. I wanted to be carefree and not paranoid. Kasi sino ba naman may gusto na parating takot ang nasa isip natin. So I started to slip. And because of that, sad to say, I infected 7 people. 7 people whom I love the most. So, not good.
So ito, Miss Sarah, yung sinasabi nating quarantine fatigue, pwede mo bang maikwento sa amin kahit briefly lang? Ano ba yung ginagawa mo every day, na naging practice mo and then which led, to this parang napagod ka nakakagawa niyan araw-araw?
So, I mean, it was the basic stuff, washing hands all the time, alcohol all the time. When you get home, remove your clothes, take a shower right away. But after a while, let's say because of the traffic, I'll eat first before I change. It's those little slip-ups that lead to disaster talaga. So later on, I'll share with you one of my lessons learned about being vigilant all the time and always remembering that one false move can lead to you losing someone or almost losing someone you love.
I'd like to,
toward the end, hindi na ho siya vigilante. I mean, I'm sorry to butt in, pero towards the end kasi, mga banda pong July, hindi na ho siya nagpapalit agad ng hindi mo siya nagbigo kaagad. Oo.
Hungry.
Oo.
May nagsusumbong kay Miss Sarah, But I like to affirm, what Miss Sarah has just mentioned, na yung small things that we miss out, doing. in trying to protect ourselves may mean a huge impact, especially to our family, no? So napaka-importante yan, no? And we now take note, no, dito sa sinasabi ni Miss Sarah and ni Miss Rachel na talagang nakakapagod, the quarantine fatigue is there. But if you, as I've said, kung mamimiss po natin itong mga dapat nating gawin, it might lead to something detrimental for our family. So let's go to the next question po. So how did you find out na nagkaroon ka na nitong virus, and what were the first steps that you have undertaken? How did you also try to protect your family as you are its head, no? And you also look after your elderly parents. Miss Sarah?
Okay, so around the middle end of July, there was this one day I was feeling medyo pagod at work, so I went home early. And then I told my boss I'll rest na lang the next day. Then the next day, I took my dog Peanut Butter for a walk. And then pagpasok ko sa condo ko, there's a temperature monitor and then it said fever. So the guard said, "Ma'am, baka ano lang, dahil nasa araw kayo." So I stayed in the shade and then we took it again. It was 36. But so I was allowed back home, no? But just to be safe, I did not enter my parents' condo unit. I stayed in the studio unit of my dog. Kasi he has a separate unit. So, but that day I developed na a cold, a cough, sakit ng katawan. Parang kinukulam ako. Siguro karma nga kasi hindi ako nag-precautions, as my sister said. Then I lost my sense of taste. So I alerted our HR and they said, wait a few days to get a swab test. And then after that, but this whole time quarantine. So after 5 days of waiting, I got the results. It was confirmed. And then this whole time we quarantined me, the dog, and the dog's yaya to be safe. But sadly, by the time that I isolated myself, I think I infected na the whole family. So, ito na sila. So, nung nag-swab sila, parang buy one, get 7 sila, as in promo period. So, kami lang yung talagang we jacked up the statistics of the condo where we live, which is in Grove. So, the neighbors were very alarmed that biglang may +8 na positive sa amin.
Napaka-critical, no? And important nung sinabi mo yung promo na sabi mo na just 1 and you have additional 7 and gives a total of 8. So ganyan po talaga ang nagiging proseso natin ngayon, dito po sa ating kinakaharap na sitwasyon. Na ang isang tao, kahit isang tao lang ang merong sakit, kung hindi mag-iingat, maari makapag-infect, hindi nga lang po 7. Maari nga pong yung buong komunidad ay ma-infect dahil yung pasalin-salin ng pagkakahawa-hawa ay maaring mangyari. So maganda rin na nakapag-isolate, although too late na, because for the information of the public, of course, na ang sakit po na ito, kahit na nagde-develop pa lang kayo ng simptomas, hindi pa ho lumalabas, ay maari na po kayo makapanghawa. So that is very critical. Kaya nga po tayo, sinasabi natin 2 days before magkaroon ng simptomas ang isang tao, kasama na po siya dun sa, yung mga nakasalamuha mo, kasama na dun sa kino-contact trace namin because they might have been infected. So the third question, because you isolated yourself, you stayed in the studio of your dog, sabi niyo po, and then you asked your family members to isolate already. How did you and your family members protect yourself? So may sakit na, paano po ba yung patuloy na pagpapagaling dito sa sakit na ito? You also mentioned that your village community really helped you and supported you when you were interviewed. Bago po itong interview na ito, nabanggit niyo po na nakatulong po yung inyong komunidad. So how was it? Importante ba na meron tayong ganitong suporta during this time of our pandemic, and you were affected by this? Miss Sarah and Miss Rachel?
Yeah, first of all po, when we found out on August 1 that Sarah was PCR swab positive, we immediately decided to quarantine. We didn't go out anymore. And then I called up 2 doctor friends to alert them that we had possible exposure to a confirmed positive patient. So the 2 doctors immediately treated us as if we were already COVID positive. And I think yun ang isa sa pinakamagandang nangyari dito dahil hindi nabigyan ng ng chance yung virus na lumala. Because agad-agad binigyan kami ng antibiotics, mega doses of vitamins. And then since, as Sarah mentioned earlier, I'm also into alternative medicine, I also spoke to my friends in the alternative medicine community, and we did the interventions early on, starting August 1, maski hindi pa po kami confirmed as COVID positive. But by the time that we were swabbed on August 5 and the results came out on August 7, parang moot and academic na lang po dahil we already treated ourselves as if we were COVID positive. That's how we protected ourselves.
I think that's very important, no, that you're proactive, that you should take initial interventions already. Katulad po ng ginagawa natin ngayon sa ating mga kababayan na na-expose, no, kahit hindi pa ho natin sila natitest, as long as we quarantine them, and then we have that safeguard na hindi na po sila makapangahawa. That's just an example. But of course, additional interventions such as the alternative medicine, saka yung iba pa hong binigay ng inyong mga doktor katulad ng boosting up your immunity with these vitamins is very important at this point. Ms. Sarah, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, Doc, you were asking earlier about the support of the community. Because when I was diagnosed first, I made a conscious decision that I would come out with the COVID diagnosis because there was a lot of stigma at that time. Sino may COVID? Nasaan tower siya? Anong floor siya? And then medyo may bashing. Medyo. So I said, I want to come out with this because I wanted, there's a lot of fear and I wanted people to have someone they could ask na, how does it feel? Masakit ba? Nakakahinga ka ba? What symptoms did you have? Anong iniinom mo? And it was nice because instead of bashing us, what happened was the community actually started feeding us. Kasi they knew it was the whole community. They started sending us groceries. They started sending us cards. They started sending us prayers. And it was such an amazing feeling because I realized that I'm trying to be safe for them also as to not infect them, but they're also rallying behind us so that we get well and so that the whole community learns from my experience. Kasi I said, aminado ako, nagkulang naman ako. So there. So kudos to the community for helping us out.
Napakasarap nung pakiramdam, no, Miss Sarah and Miss Rachel, na meron na aside from our family, there are these people, no, who would want to support you in spite of this. Sabi nga natin, yung iba na di-discriminate, pero kayo po ay nasuportahan. Can you give me exactly, sino po nga ba itong mga tao sa komunidad? Will this include also the local government youth?
Yeah, actually, so in addition to the neighbors, kudos to there was somebody assigned from the Pasig LGU. She called me on the very first day of my diagnosis. She called me every day, minsan twice a day, kinakamusta ako. And I didn't have any news for her. Like, may panlasa ako. Basta, parang she became my friend already. And I told her, after this, can I just like hug you? But syempre, hindi pa pwede. So kudos to Pasig for that. They also helped me because when it was confirmed that my family, although they were in a separate unit, were positive, I really wanted to be with them. And they said, Ma'am, bawal. Kasi hindi pwede kayong magsama. Dapat hiwalay na unit. And at that time, my mom was really deteriorating. So I said, no, I have to be with them. And so what they did was they found a way for the family to be together. And my sister will tell you later, it was the best decision kasi love heals. But I'll let her tell you about that.
Yeah. Ako, very good experience, no? Ito pong naranasan natin na to. Miss Sarah, bago tayo pumunta sa next question, tatanungin ko lang, what do you think? Saan mo nakuha yung virus? Did you do anything out of the ordinary? Saan ba yan? Or the usual getting essentials and all?
It could be either of two things, either in the grocery, because apart from the office, dun lang ako pumupunta sa grocery, but it also could be our driver, who felt a little bit, I think he had a cold, but he kept saying, Ma'am, hindi, ano lang to. Then parang we brushed it aside and that was my fault. As soon as he said may sipon siya or feeling a bit medyo sipon. I should have had him swabbed already. So to this day, I don't know if it was a driver, Ronnie, he won't admit it. But I love him anyway, or the grocery.
Okay, so the driver was not tested.
No, because he said, Ma'am, wala nang sipon, isang araw lang yon. So,
Okay. So hindi na natin malalaman ano, but anyway, katulad nga ng lagi nating sinasabi, it doesn't matter actually where we got it, no? What would be most important would be how we were able to manage and how we were able to overcome, no, this kind of situation. So ibibigay ko na kay Rachel, siguro ikukwento na niya sa atin talaga paano ba nyo naprotektahan at napangalagaan kasi meron po kayong mga magulang na matatanda na. So kapag mga ganito, alam po natin na sila ay vulnerable sector ng ating population. So how did you and your family encourage them and have been able to boost their strength? And how did you find strength for yourself, for your parents, and your family during this time? Miss Rachel, then Miss Sarah?
Yeah, one of the first things that I did po when I found out that we were exposed was to pray. I really believe that God is the healer and prayer is the best medicine. Now, knowing that my parents are seniors, they're both in their 70s, mid-70s, and vulnerable, what I did was to prioritize them in terms of the interventions. So, for instance, we would have mega doses of vitamin C. I would take them. My daughter, who's 22, would also take them. But we would really be very vigilant as to whether my parents are taking them. Hindi na namin pinabayaan sila to handle their own administration of medicine. And then I also, knowing that they are taking pharmaceutical medicines already, I did not want to bombard their system with more pharmaceutical medicines. So I ordered and bought homeopathic and anthroposophic remedies, which are natural medicines. And then I designed a medical program specifically for the two of them. They took center stage in this journey towards recovery. Never mind that I was also feverish. Hindi po din kasi madali para sa akin because I was also running a fever of 38.5 to 38.9 for one whole week. But knowing that my parents were more vulnerable than myself or my daughter or the three helpers, we really prioritized them. So round the clock po yung kanilang medicines, and then round the clock din yung kanilang homeopathy and anthroposophic medicines. Tumawag din po ako ng isang ICU nurse who could administer IV drips of vitamin C, collagen, glutathione, all these things that would hasten recovery. And then we watched their diet. We, of course, kept them at home. Our father was becoming restless kasi po yung father namin, very physically fit, gusto niyang lumalabas. But obviously, because we were still contagious, hindi namin siya talaga pinabayaan na lumabas. We made sure that he stays inside the house. Yung mother po namin was the one who was hard hit by the virus. She didn't want to eat, she couldn't open her eyes, and she couldn't drink. At a certain point po, we were already feeding her water through medicine dropper. Hindi na ho siya eating or drinking normally. In fact, she was a candidate for hospitalization. But as I said, through prayers and the alternative medicine and the energy medicine, because I'm also a registered pranic healer, and because we prioritized them and their health and their diet, by some miracle, after 3 days, my mother started to eat and drink normally again. And she regained her strength after 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, we were cleared of COVID and everything was fine. But since I was the one taking care of everyone, ako ho yung last gumaling. It took me 3 weeks. But everybody else was well after about 10 to 14 days.
Okay na lang na nag-extend ka ng 1 week at least, basta ang importante gumaling lahat ng inaalagaan mo.
At gumaling po sa loob ng bahay lamang at hindi kailangan ng hospitalization.
Napaka-importante na kasi yung mga tao natatakot sila na pag na-hospital sila, akala nila this is the end.
It could be the end po talaga dahil sa lungkot, sa loneliness, sa depression, isolation. Yeah, sometimes I feel po na yan ang kinamamatay ng mga COVID patients because they're away from their families. In our case, we were all together under the same roof. I think it really was also love that healed. We were all together.
Agree po ako dyan, ano? The importance of the support of the family members around you, surrounding you during the time that you are sick. Which brings me to my next question, ma'am. For both you and Miss Sarah, how did you manage it? 14 days isolated. What were the usual activities for the family? Meron po bang ano ba, every night may messenger na nagtatawagan kayo just to kamustahan? How did we do this?
We were all under the same roof po, so we didn't have to use media to call each other. We were all physically together. We had a daily rosary with extended family, the siblings of my mom. That helped a lot, especially my mom, kasi these are her her blood relatives. So that was one. And then the other normal activities we would do were just to wake up, take your breakfast, drink your medicine, drink more homeopathic medicine, not really much of the drugs. And then do some IV drips pag nandyan yung ICU nurse, do some breathing exercises, eat well, na-manage po yung schedule. We made sure everybody was eating on time, taking their remedies and their vitamins on time, and adhering to all the safety protocol. Maski na po kami lahat magkakasama, lahat kami positive, lahat po kami nakamask pa rin sa loob ng bahay. And of course, nobody would go out.
Yeah.
So actually,
yes, ma'am.
Super nag-enjoy ako. Kasi I was allowed to stay home, parang free cut sa school. So, wala akong office. So, lahat ng gusto kong gawin na hindi ko magawa dahil nag-office ako, like painting pots or tending to the plants. Pati yung nurses na naturuan ko na how to paint the pots. Things like that. So, I also relish the time with my family and with my dogs and doing the hobby. So, it's funny to say, pero thank you sa COVID. Dahil yon, meron akong better appreciation for my family.
Well, other people, no, since the start of this lockdown, no, they are very appreciative of the lockdown because they get to spend more time with the family. They get to spend more time at home with their children. So, yan po, no. So, sa parte naman ng Miss Sarah ay because nagka-COVID, wag ho natin ibang perception. Baka gusto lang ng mga tao magka-COVID because they want to rest from their work, no. This is something quite extraordinary because they have a specific na roof na where they can all stay together. Magkakasama po sila dito sa kanilang bahay at pare-pareho naman po sila. That's why okay po yun. Ano? Wala po tayong na-break na protocol doon because they were all diagnosed to be positive. That's why they can stay inside their roof. Pero doon sa mga kababayan natin na magkakaroon ng sakit, kailangan po talagang ma-isolate kayo kung wala naman pong sakit ang inyong mga kasama sa bahay. So, going to the next question, ano, I would add also to this next question, meron lang akong gusto malaman kasi you said that this experience changed your life after you have recovered, no? Yung siguro yung perspective mo and all, and that you are more vigilant now. So what were these changes that you have instituted in your work life, in your office space, and your activities at home? And also I would like to touch on, I know I've read, no, na nagbo-vlog ka ba or you posted some of these experiences. So baka pwede nating i-share sa ating mga kababayan so that they get to appreciate it also. Sarah?
Yeah, okay. So first of all, once you have COVID, I think you're in a way scarred for life talaga. As in, mentally na-trauma talaga ako. Kasi parang now, when I see a picture lang of people na nagkukumpul-kumpul, parang na-high blood na ako, or I cringe talaga when I see people without masks, or like yesterday, I did the grocery and talaga, I could feel like almost panic attack because I could feel it can be anywhere, parang ganyan. And when someone comes, kahit na 3 meters towards me, parang iilag na ako. Or like, in the elevator, my God, I just want to get out of the elevator. But it's also using this fear to be more diligent nga than I was in the past. So you can ask my sister, passing grade ako ngayon, as soon as I enter the house, hubad, as in hubad. And I really, no matter how hungry I am or how bad the traffic was, I really take a bath. Nice effect actually pala on the body pag talagang religiously kang twice a day naliligo. But I disinfect everything that comes in, whether it's Lazada, Grab, whether it's from a neighbor lang or sa driver lang or even from family, disinfect yan lahat. In the office, I put alcohol every, I don't know how many minutes. Nagda-dry na nga po yung kamay ko. Pero di bale, lotion, may lotion naman tayo. I also bought an air cleaner in my office. I noticed pag may pumasok sa office ko and lumapit sa akin, the indicator says dumudumi yung air. So you can imagine, Kadirs, right? You can't smell it, you can't see it, but the machine is telling you the air has been polluted. Sa kotse, going to and from the office, I leave the window a little bit open. Things like that. And I think these habits will stay with me for a long, long time.
Yung helpers po namin, if they have to pick up something from the lobby or go down for whatever reason, we require them to wear the PPE. Not just the face mask and the face shield. I don't care kung sila lang ang gumagawa nun sa buong condo complex, but it's better safe than sorry. We learned that already from the COVID. We also sometimes wear PPE when we go out, especially to the grocery. I don't care if I look like an astronaut or an alien, as long as po protektado ako. Dahil ayoko kong ma-reinfect talaga.
Alam niyo,
Si Doc.
Yeah, hindi, good experience, no? And sometimes, if you look at the other side, malungkot kasi parang ang ating mga kababayan, no, not to have this negative para bang effect or indication dyan sa sinabi mo. Kaya lang, nakakalungkot, di ba? Kailangan pa ba natin magkaroon ng ganitong sakit para, you know, we strive to protect ourselves and our family. Yun po yung gusto natin iparating sa ating mga kababayan. Learn from how they have experienced it. Nagkaroon po sila ng sakit, pero pagkatapos po nun, positibo po ang attitude na andyan po lahat ng learnings, andyan po lahat ng pag-iingat kasi ayaw na po nilang balikan uli. Because we all know that there is reinfection. Maari pa ho tayo magkaroon ng sakit na ito. Wala ho tayong immunity passports. Yun po yung napaka-importanting kailangan malaman ng ating mga kababayan. So with all of this, Miss Sarah, no, and maybe Miss Rachel can also give us some inputs as well. What was the most important lesson that you learned from this experience?
Well, for me, it's really every moment counts. And that's good or bad. It can count in a bad way if you let your guard slip. Kahit 1 minute lang or kahit lang kakain lang ako saglit or what. Every moment counts because in that moment you can be infected or reinfect. But also on the flip side, every moment counts because you never know, right? How long your life is going to be. So talaga every day, tell your family you love them, tell your dog you love them, listen to your dog telling you he loves you, and really seize the day because we never know what's ahead of us. We can make the most out of every moment. That's for me.
Miss Rachel?
Ako po, what I learned is that our human bodies are really, really capable of healing themselves. Kaya naging mas importante po sa akin, Doktora, yung pagpapahalaga at pagpapalakas ng ating immune system. Kasi ako, I believe the virus might be around for a long time. However, if we build up our immunity by eating right, sleeping early, avoiding as much as possible stress, and always praying and practicing relaxation techniques, maintaining a positive attitude, I think this will build our immunity. Of course, the vaccine is a much welcome development, but if we can also immunize ourselves from within, Hindi ba? Why not? I really feel kasi po na because we fortified our bodies, our immune systems, our recovery was quite fast and nobody ended up in the hospital.
Gusto ko yung sinabi mo, Miss Rachel, yung immunize ourselves from within, no? Hindi lang talaga bakuna, kung hindi, let's make ourselves healthy, di ba? Let's practice the minimum public health standards. Kahit na hindi pa dumadating ang bakuna, we can assure ourselves that we will be safe kapag po may mga ganito tayo. And another thing na magandang nasabi niyo po would be the positive lang, no? Huwag tayong negative. Positive lang tayo. Nagkasakit tayo. Positive lang. Lalabanan natin to. We keep ourselves healthy. We protect our family. Positive lang tayo lagi. And I guess, that spells a lot, no? That means a lot, no? Kapag ka positibo ka. Kasi kapag negative tayo, may sakit na nga tayo, di ba? Tapos lalo pa tayo nangihina kasi negative ang feeling natin, no? So we do not want that.
Yeah.
No, sabi niya, seize the day, carpe diem, no? So I think that's very important na parang every second counts with your family, of course. But on the flip side, as you said, every second counts. Tanggalin mo lang yung mask mo ng kung ilang minuto at meron kang kaharap na may sakit, you'll get the disease. The virus is here. It's here to stay for a long time. But if we know how to prevent, no, from being infected, and then we will be safe. So as a last question and as a last request from both Miss Rachel and Miss Sarah, ano po ang maipapayo nyo sa ating mga audience? Especially dun sa mga nakakaramdam na pagod na sila dito sa mga lockdown, sa quarantine, sa pagsusuot ng mask, sa pagsusuot ng face shield. How can you encourage them to continue doing this thing so that they can be safe, no, from this infection? Miss Sarah and then Miss Rachel.
Para sa akin po, it's never ever let your guard down. Kahit pagod ka na, tinatamad ka na, go pa rin. Because ang pagkukulang mo could really cost someone you love their life. The second thing for me is vitamins, vitamins, vitamins. Drink them every day, even when you feel well. Share them with others. Like, let's say, may Lazada delivery ka, Grab delivery. Give them a tip. Give them a box of vitamins because everybody could use them. Parang, yun nga ngayon is a nice way to show you care. Kahit sa office, I give out the guards, the cleaners, lahat, vitamins. Sabi nga nila, ma'am, kayo po bang may-ari ng vitamin company? I said, hindi. I just want you to be healthy. Yun ang para sa akin. And then again, as I said, each day, each moment matters. So tell your loved ones you love them and make sure you look after them by looking after yourself, by being healthy yourself also.
Yes po. A lot has already been said kasi about precautions and social distancing and vigilance. Ang mapapayo ko siguro is on another level po, no? For the public to look at this COVID as something that we can also learn from. Hindi naman po na we will just learn social distancing or how to build immunity, but maybe we can also ask ourselves, what are the life lessons that we can get from being stuck at home, from homeschooling your children for the first time in your life, di ba? What lessons in patience are we learning? Para sa ganun po, hindi magiging totally resentful or asar tayo na nagkaroon ng COVID. Meron din siyang magandang maidudulot na mga leksyon na maganda ring dalhin for the rest of our lives. And if we look at COVID as that way, na it is not really a curse that was given to us because our God is not a God that is a punishing God, but a loving God, He would not have brought us here kung wala hong dahilan. And ang gusto ko lang din sabihin is, lilipas din naman po ito. Makakaahon tayo. Ang Pilipino pa po, very resilient, very pious na mga tao. I think we will get through this. Kailangan lang to maximize the lessons that we can get from the entire experience of the pandemic and keep it with us for the rest of our lives.
Thank you very much, Miss Sarah and Miss Rachel. I enjoyed, having this conversation with you, and I guess ang atin pong mga taga-subaybay ay nag-enjoy din at marami pong natutunan sa inyong mga sinabi. This is the first time that we have heard this kind of mga konsepto at saka inputs and experiences, no, for this. Ms. Sarah, would you like to promote the vlogs that you have mentioned a while ago so that people can get to see your post?
Baka lang mag-viral, Doc, kasi akala nila nagka-COVID si Sarah Geronimo. Tapos tatanungin nila, bakit parang tumaba? So yeah, if you want to learn about our journey, it's on Facebook. It's called Sheepy Updates. Doc, SHEEPY, Sheepy, as in the animal, Sheepy Updates. That's the nickname of my mom. Doctora, also, I'll just introduce you to, this is Janice. She is the only one that I did not infect. So I want to show her to you. Janice, don't be shy. She is superwoman. Upo ka dito. Ayan siya.
Hello.
Imagine, ha? Araw-araw kami magkasama and hindi siya tinablan. And I asked her why, Doktora. I think she said gulay lang.
Talaga? So marami talaga tayong learnings, no? Pero sa tingin ko rin, yung inyong pag-iingat and how you have implemented, no, mula nung nalaman yung may sakit kayo, the isolation, the public protocols, no, ng health, like wearing of the mask, even you are all together at alam naman natin na may sakit na, nakatulong din po, no, na hindi nahawahan si Janice. So Janice, you are blessed, and I guess blessed din talaga ang family ni Miss Sarah and ni Miss Rachel. Thank you very much again. Maraming salamat po. Please stay safe and please try and sana po sa future, no, makakatrabaho po namin kayo pareho. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Salamat.
God bless you.
God bless both of you and the rest of the family. Salamat po.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat po sa inyong taus-pusong pagbabahagi ng inyong karanasan, Miss Sarah and Miss Rachel. Ang inyong pagtagumpay laban sa COVID-19 ay isang patunay na hindi po dapat mawala ng pag-asa kapag nagpo-positibo po tayo o nagkakaroon tayo ng COVID-19. Kayang-kaya po nating masupil ang virus basta't kolektibo ang effort ng pamilya. Masaya po kami sa inyong paggaling at sa pagbuti ng inyong kalagayan. Tiyak na marami pa po kayong isiping huhulmahin at ang mga buhay na tutulungan bilang mga guro at kung ano pa ho ang mga propesyon ng kasama sa pamilya. Para naman po sa ating mga taga-subaybay, mangyari po na pag kayo po ay nakaramdam na ng anumang simptomas ng COVID-19, agad po tayong sumangguni sa ating mga local healthcare workers na maaari po nating makausap via telemedicine na makakapagbigay po ng tulong sa atin upang suriin ang ating sitwasyon. Huwag po kayong matakot at huwag isantabi ang inyong mga nararamdaman. Makinig po tayo sa mga sinyales na pinaparating sa atin ng ating katawan. Pinapaalala po namin na mangyari po kung makakaramdam ng flu-like symptoms. Agad po tayo mag-isolate kagaya po ng ginawa ni na Miss Sarah and Miss Rachel bago pa man po makamapa sa ilalim sa test upang hindi na po tayo makapanghawa ng ibang tao sakali mang magpositibo tayo sa COVID-19. Para po sa kaalaman ng lahat, ang isolation period po ay umaabot sa 10 araw. Matapos po nating sundin ang isolation protocol, kasabay po ng paggaling ng ating mga simptomas, maaari na po tayong matag as recovered at hindi na po natin kailangan pang sumailalim sa retesting. Ito po ay ayon sa ating time-based recovery tagging. Ang pagkakaisa po natin ang susi upang mapagtagumpayan natin ang pandemyang ating nararanasan. Kapag maingat po tayo, pinoprotektahan po natin hindi lamang po ang ating mga sarili, kung hindi pati na rin po ang ating mahal sa buhay. Kayang-kaya po nating lagpasan ang pandemyang ito kung lahat po tayo ay makikiisa sa pagsunod sa tamang pagkilos laban sa COVID-19. Nais po naming mag-iwan ng importanteng paalala sa publiko. Isa puso at isa isip ang minimum public health standards. B, bawal ang walang mask. I, isanitize ang kamay, iwas hawak sa mga bagay. D, dumistansya ng 1 metro. At A, alamin ang totoong impormasyon. And suportahan po natin ang mga FDA-approved na bakuna. PIDA or BIDA. Maging BIDA po tayo lahat para tayo po lahat ay protektado sa COVID-19.